Aussie farmers thought they were being attacked by aliens. But what was actually causing it is so much funnier. This is a wallaby, the kangaroo's vertically challenged little cousin. Now, to get a little more specific, this is a Bennett's wallaby, native to my home state of Tasmania. And that location is very important to the story. Tassie is home to a lot of things. Beautiful views, a seal with a felony record, and the nut. However, one thing they tend to leave off the tourism brochures is drugs. Tasmania is the world's largest exporter of legal opium, the main ingredient in opioid painkillers like morphine, with this one tiny island producing 50% of global supply. Now, opium comes from poppy milk, and to get poppy milk, you need to milk poppies. And to produce that 50% of global supply, Tasmanian farmers grow huge fields of these things across the north of the state. However, because throwing these flowers into a crafting table gives you narcotics, these fields are legally required to be under extremely tight security. Which is why these same poppy farmers became extremely confused when crop circles showed up in the plant equivalent of a Town Hall 9 Clash of Clans base. They were understandably absolutely bewildered by this, and some people even thought it was aliens. So to figure out whether or not it was a Halo Elite drawing this shit, they set up some cameras. And what they saw was this little shit breaking into the field, eating the milk-filled buds, getting absolutely eyed, and then hopping in circles until he passed the out. They thought the Covenant were invading, and it was a drink-driving wallaby. Australia just found a new shark. And of course, being from the land down under, it's fucking weird. Introducing the brand new Western Australian lantern shark. As the name suggests, discovered by a team of scientists off the coast of Western Australia. Now, as with the overwhelming majority of weird shit in the ocean, the Ozempic shark here is found in the deep sea, sharing a postcode with the anglerfish, that one xenomorph shark, and now, despite the word shark making most people think of something a little closer in size to, I don't know, Bruce, Slenderman's fish sonar over here only grows up to 30 centimeters. This little guy shares a weight class with a fucking foot long. But I mean, honestly, I still personally think 30 centimeters is way too big. He could be just as good as the other sharks if he was, you know, let's just say 3 inches. However, other than being built like a fishy USB cable and owning a property in rock bottom, what makes him so weird? Simple. He fucking glows.
Throwing flashbang.
But fucking why? Well, you see, these bad boys are found in the twilight zone of the ocean, around 1.2 kilometers below the surface. A place so fucking far down, it sees less sunlight than the inside of a gacha addict's room. And so, lantern sharks evolved bioluminescence on their gills and fins in order to fucking communicate with one another. The glow is the evolutionary equivalent of a fucking indicator, showing that a literal abyss shark is more intelligent than your average BMW driver. The Kraken is a real animal, just not the one you think it is.
Who's that Pokemon?
You see, when people hear tales of the Kraken, they assume that a bunch of sailors in the oldie times got absolutely shit-faced and ran into a giant squid. And to be fair, that's not a terrible assumption. Giant squid are f***ing kaiju-sized. coming in at 12 meters in length and 900 kilos in weight. So the assumption that they saw that shit and rightly assumed sea monster isn't too far-fetched. However, there is a rather large hole in that giant squid theory. They don't live anywhere near the surface. They live down. Way down. Owning real estate at a depth of 1,000 meters below sea level in the twilight zone. So if these sailors didn't see Squidward's roided out brother, how the f*** do you explain the books of corroborating tales of long, tentacle-like appendages sticking out of the sea? Well, the answer is whales. But, where is the tentacle on a whale? Well, you see, during breeding season, blue whales reproduce by, conducting a locomotive on female whales. And in order to keep this train running on the tracks, male whales must wait their turn. And while waiting in the lobby, in order to stay prepared, the males tend to, raise their gentleman's sausage out of the water and wave it around in the air. And the special sausage on a blue whale is around 3 meters long and 14 inches thick. So, sailors who thought they were seeing a mythical monster from the depths were, more than likely just seeing a pot of whales hitting weapon inspect on their schmeat.
Captain!
Yeah?
Scientists just discovered a new fish. Looks fucking ridiculous. This is the bumpy snailfish, a freshly discovered species found off the coast of California. What makes this absolute specimen stick out is that it's a deep sea fish found at a depth of 3 kilometers. And I am here to tell you exactly why. Because once God finished building this thing, he took a step back, looked at it, realized exactly how fucking chopped it was, and punted that thing into the depths of the ocean where no one would ever see it again.
Be free!
However, thanks to the hubris of mankind, it is here before us today to take the piss out of.
Look at the top of his head!
I mean, fucking look at it. It is a profoundly unserious creature. I do not think a single fucking thought has ever spawned behind those eyes. Not to mention the fit on it. It looks like an aquatic, uncooked turkey with a fucking smiley face drawn on it. Coming in at a solid 3 inches in length, Bumpy here is not the only species of snailfish. There's others that look like this. However, unlike his cousins, God deemed it so that this poor little f***er would be built like a shaved testicle. The scientific term for a pair of these should be a sack. However, despite the fact that he looks like a sperm cell with a receding hairline, I love him. He's so cute. Look at that smile. That shit reminds me of Sackboy on the PS3. I know when they got his ass on camera, he looked at it and went,
You know, when you showed me up, you put some of the stuffing in the wrong places, so I'm a little f***ed up. But will you take care of me forever and ever?
This is one of the oldest creatures on the planet.
Who's that Pokemon?
We got a boomer!
Introducing the horseshoe crab. Found under the sea in the Atlantic, Indian and Pacific Oceans. And when I said old, I didn't mean individually. These little guys disconnect from the server at around age 40. And as far as their actual lives go, they're kind of boring. They're bottom feeders with zero offensive capability, and the only reason they have a tail is that without it, they would die if you flipped them onto their backs. No, when I say old, I mean as a species. because these things are walking fossils that have been running the exact same basic ass build, completely unchanged, for millions of years. How many millions? Well, here is a list of events that this little guy's family tree has lived through. The fall of Rome. The evolution of humankind.
Go back, I want to be monkey!
The Ice Age. God tossing a rock at the big ass lizards.
Lizard.
Hell, this little fucker watched the first fish crawl onto land and was underwater when the first tree spawned. But I think the best way I can put this into perspective is that not unlike the way the Earth orbits the Sun orbits the Milky Way. Now, this process takes around 225 million years to complete. The horseshoe crab has done it twice!